Hello, football fans. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. I know I did. And week 16 was very chaotic to say the least. And it's all quite a few things settled, but still there are some things that need to be solved. That need to be solved next week after 5 week of regular season. Let's get to the nitty gritty already. First off, Pitts, Pittsburgh. What the holy hell is going on? I mean, you come off beating New England. That's your big high right there. You came off beating New England, but what happens? You go out there against the Saints. You kind of play well, but you still kind of play stupidly, committing not one but two massive fumbles that ended up costing you the game. And it came at a bad time because the Chargers dropped the ball at home on Saturday, this past Saturday, and lost to the Ravens. I mean, they were dominated by the Ravens. I think Justin Tucker scored almost as much, if not more, points than the Chargers did that game. So, because of all this, not only is Baltimore now in first place, but Pittsburgh is facing elimination. This is not good. But more on that a bit later. Um, more on that a bit later. What else happened? Well, the week started with Tennessee beating Washington, and Philadelphia's win, thanks to that man Nick Foles, the hero from last year who beat the Patriots. Uh, Philadelphia's win eliminated Washington from the playoffs. So long. Like I said, they have more problems with that racist name. Uh, Seattle clinched the playoff spot on Sunday night when they beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs had Alex Smith who beat Seattle. Uh, more more teams. Who else? Oh yeah, Houston ended up getting into playoffs later on because of Pittsburgh's loss. And of course, New England won the division when Miami shit the bed and lost to Jacksonville. Miami's now eliminated too. Uh, another team who got eliminated from playoff contention was Cleveland before they took the field. Before they took the field against the Bengals, Tennessee's win eliminated Cleveland for the postseason. Cleveland still has the longest current playoff drought in the NFL. They have not made the playoffs since 2002, which was the Houston Texans' very first season. Uh, but it's also the second longest current streak in sports by 1 year, with the Seattle Mariners having not made baseball's postseason since '01. But regardless, even with no playoffs, this is a big win for the Cleveland Browns. They literally came from nothing and now have a shot at their first winning record in a long time. They beat the Bengals to go 7-7-1, which means their next win could give them a winning season for the first time since they went 10-6. I think in 2007. I have to look that up, but I think that's correct. Uh, but yeah, but because Tennessee and Indy won, Houston is in the playoffs, but the South is still not settled, and Kansas City's loss failed to give them uh, division home field. So now that'll leave the final week to solve. Minnesota beat Detroit, so they're still alive, unfortunately, in the playoff race. But Dallas, congratulations to the Cowboys. They won the NFC East when they beat the Buccaneers. So they're playoff round. That means it was Seattle getting in. That means there are four spots. That means five spots are in. One spot's left, and there's a first round bye to be settled. Home field is locked in because New Orleans beat Pittsburgh and gave them home field. The road to the NFC will go through the Bayou in that Superdome. And there's still a lot to be settled, and it's all I have it all saved up on this tablet. Uh, the NFC is pretty easy. The AFC is clout, so I'm stuck with the NFC scenarios. Now the NFC scenarios is easy. Um, the NFC scenarios are easy. For the Rams, it's still between them and the Bears for that second first round bye. All the Rams have to do is win. Win or tie, they get it. Or if the Bears lose or tie, the Rams still get it. Only way the Bears can get that bye is if they win and the Rams lose. That'll give them the same record. That'll give them the same record, but Chicago has the head-to-head tiebreaker. And the only other thing that needs deciding in the NFC is the last playoff spot. Now, I think Minnesota is at 8. I think it's 8, 6-1, and Philly's 8-7. Now, Minnesota has the head-to-head tiebreaker, which means even if Philadelphia ties, they're out. Because the worst that could happen is they finish the same record. Minnesota will have that head-to-head. Minnesota wins or ties, they're in the playoffs. Or Philadelphia loses or ties, Minnesota's in. The only way Minnesota can get in and successfully defend their Super Bowl championship is if they win and Minnesota loses. Minnesota plays Chicago, so I do like the Eagles' chances, especially with Mr. Nick Foles, Saint Nick himself, out there for Philly. Now that's all for the NFC. The AFC, it's convoluted. It is so convoluted. I'll start with the top with Kansas City. Kansas City still can end up being a wild card, but they'll be the number 5, and plus they have such a good record, it won't matter. But they can still end up as a wild card. If the Chargers lose, they get the division and that bye. They also get the bye if the Chargers lose and New England loses ties, or if the Chargers lose and Houston loses ties. And there's also situations where involve straight to victory. I'm not going to get involved in that; it's too confusing. But if Kansas City just wins, they get everything: the division, the bye, and home field. Simple as that. Um, the Patriots. Regarding the Patriots, even with their shit, they can still end up getting home field. And that's a mess, but it requires them winning, which they'll do when they're playing the Jets. It requires them winning, uh, and Kansas City and the Chargers both losing. If New England just wins, they get a bye for the 10th year in a row. New England hasn't played a wild card weekend since 2009. Actually, I take that back. I said 10th year in a row. It'll be the 9th year in a row. They'll have a bye. It's since 2009 since they played the wild card game, and all they have to do is just win, and they get the bye. Or if they tie, Houston cannot win. Or if Baltimore, Houston, and Tennessee all lose, New England gets the bye regardless of how things end up in their game. I'm just gonna say certain things for that. So I'll just stick to the Chargers. The Chargers scenario is simple. If they win or Kansas City loses or ties, they get the division and home field. Just think, the road to AFC can go through LA, well, Carson, California. Um, Baltimore has an easy shot at winning the division. All they have to do to win the division is just win against Cleveland. That's right. The fate of Pittsburgh's season rests on the Browns. Now that's just crazy. Um, if they don't win the division, the only way Baltimore can get in the playoffs is if they tie and the Indy Tennessee game ends in such a tie. Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, to get in the playoffs, to win the division, all they have to do is win, and Baltimore has to lose. But if Baltimore and Pittsburgh both win, the only way Pittsburgh get the playoffs is if the Indy Tennessee end of the tie. If Pittsburgh loses, they're gone. Which brings me to the AFC South. I saved this for last because this could end the season. This could end the season. All Houston has to do to clinch all Houston has to do to clinch the division is win. All they have to do is beat Jacksonville or tie Jacksonville. If they lose, if they tie, a head-to-head tie between Indy and Tennessee in the final game of the regular season will give them the division. Houston Houston can get a bye if they win and New England loses. Remember, New England, both teams are tied, but New England's win week 1 gives them the head-to-head edge. Um, and there's a lot of other scenarios, but I won't get into that either. Houston could actually get home field. They have to win. Really has to lose or tie. Kansas City has to lose. Chargers have to lose. And Houston has to clinch straight to victory, which is, again, too convoluted. As I mentioned, Baltimore could get a first round bye, but they have to win. New England has to lose. Houston has to lose, and somebody has to win between Indianapolis and Tennessee. Uh, but if Houston, and speaking of Indianapolis and Tennessee, that game will end the regular season, and the reason why is simple: the winner is in. The winner of that game is in the playoffs. However, if Houston loses to Jacksonville, the winner of Indianapolis and Tennessee is in as the AFC South champion. But only Tennessee, according to this, only Tennessee can get the division and a bye. Tennessee has to win, Houston has to lose, New England has to lose, and Baltimore has to lose a tie. So again, so much shit to be solved in the AFC. And I'll have my eyes peeled. Of course, if Indy is Indy is in with a win, obviously. But if that game ends in a tie, that can help some teams. It is going to be a very insane final week, and it could end with a division championship game for what would be the eighth time in nine seasons. So to say you should fashion proverbial seatbelts for Week 17 is an understatement. So I'll just say enjoy the final week of this regular season. I can't wait for the playoffs, and I'll be back to review Week 17 and preview this year's playoffs. So again, I hope you had a good Christmas, and here's to a good 2019. Until next week.